Hasbro's Transformer team has already let us in on a little tidbits on where it may be heading next. And you know what? Everyone loves a good combiner. Let's discuss. So as you're aware, Yojo June is officially over. We're into July now, and so what we're going to do here for a second, we're going to circle back on a tidbit of news that both Nate and Evan kind of let loose on their last live stream that we previously discussed in another video, and we didn't have a chance to discuss this. And what we're talking about is where they think the idea of combiners are going next. But first, if you do like what we're doing here on the channel, think about hitting that like button as well, hitting that subscribe button. It really does help us a lot. So during that last live stream, Nate and Evan did something that they don't really get a lot of chance to do. They responded to fans' questions and they wanted to get some details out there. They're being a bit more personable to the community, and one of the things that came up that they wanted to talk about in particular was the idea of continuing on with combiners. Of course, just as a recap, we already have Legacy Menasor, we're getting Age of the Prime Superion, we're getting Studio Series 86 Devastator, and as well, Bruticus is coming down the pipeline too. So we've got a lot of combiners already on the go right now, probably refreshing those ones from Combiner Wars with more modern, more cartoon accurate looks, but we've got even more coming down the line as well. So Nate and Evan, when they had a chance to discuss combiners possibly coming, they mentioned 4 big names during their talk. And of course, what we're talking about Predaking, Defensor, Monstructor, and Rail Racer. So they are 4 huge Transformer combiners, a big part of the legacy and the lore, and you know what? We're gonna get some of them. Let's discuss where they might go with this. Let's start with Predaking. Now, first of all, Predaking has always been one of the most amazing, biggest, baddest combiners the Transformer community has ever seen. It started with Generation 1. It is a beast of a figure. That being said, we've seen him a few years ago. He was a Titan and he was huge, absolutely huge. One of the guys right here, like that guy is huge. Anyways, so we may see a return to that. When we really break it down, that would be a really easy thing to do. I would assume that the Transformer team would go the route similar to the Combiner Wars Titan Devastator and bring Predaking in from that Titan mold and bring him into Studio Series, because it would just be a highly detailed new combiner. I think that is the best route to go with that figure. I believe that Titan only got a box set release, so I would assume they would go a different route, you know, have the 5 individual robots available in packaging at retail, available for collectors to actually collect them. I think that they could do minor updates to refresh them, giving them a bit more articulation, and just bring them up to date with the new standard of the Legacy and Studio Series 86 combiners that we're seeing now, like Devastator and like Superion. Now this one for me, I personally do really enjoy Predaking. I had the Generation 1 one. I don't have that previous Titan except for that one there on my shelf, and I would really like to see a very highly detailed Predaking in the scale of the Studio Series 86 Devastator that we're getting. So I think a lot of fans would enjoy this one a lot, and I really hope he's high on the list of things to get done. Next up, we have the idea of Monstructor. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I am not that familiar with Monstructor. I mean, I don't have that much details about him. I've watched the commercial that it's playing right now. I mean, it seems like you had those monster pretenders that had the little pieces in the back and they would like sort of parts form into a combiner. Not my ideal thing. I'd be very interesting to see how they actually bring that into a modern day combiner. What would they do with it? Would they do a skeleton system? Would they go that deep? Would they do something a little less? Maybe even, you know what? Maybe even a core class combiner. Could they bring core class back just for that combiner? That's something to think about. I don't really know what they would do, but they did mention Monstructor, so that means he is on the potential list of combiners that we would see in the coming future, maybe 26, 27. Now, moving on. Who's next? Defensor. Defensor. Now, Defensor is going to be on a lot of people's lists because really we need Defensor to even out the odds, correct? We have Menasor, we have Bruticus, we have Superion. So the Autobots are down 2-1. So I mean, Defensor probably a good one at the top of the list. I mean, imagine if Predaking came, then it would be 3-1. So Defensor would even out the odds in a lot of people's dioramas. And I do think that the last Defensor that we got was Combiner Wars. He's not the prettiest figure. So I mean, obviously you've got the Generation 1 version that is the standard, and then you've got the Combiner Wars, which is the more modern one. But much like the Combiner Wars Menasor, they're not pretty to look at. So I think that Combiner Wars one needs to be replaced with a new modern Legacy / Studio Series figure, because I think a lot of fans would enjoy it. Defensor needs a little love, and I'm surprised we haven't seen him since, and he's been so late on the list. Hopefully they can get a nice Defensor out sooner than later. What do you guys think? Now, last but not least, while we're talking about Autobot combiners, we got something a little different here. What about Rail Racer? And you know what? People are like, Rail Racer, is he really a combiner? I mean, technically he is. He has 3 trains that do combine into a little larger robot. So he's not probably much on the scale of our normal Predaking, Defensor, those type of combiners. He is technically a combiner, and you know what? He holds a place in my heart. The reason why, I actually don't have an original Rail Racer in my collection, and I've always wanted to have a Rail Racer. So a modern one, I think that would be a great addition to the line. And I do think that Rail Racer might be at the top of the list because not everyone loves Generation 1 stuff. Now, while I am a Generation 1 primary collector, I do enjoy it. I love the lore and stuff of that. There's a lot of fans out there that they don't necessarily like Generation 1 as much as some other people. So I think if you went with Rail Racer being from Robots in Disguise from 2001, I do think it's kind of halfway point from, say, modern and old school collectors. I think Rail Racer could be an easy choice to see. Also, it's only 3 figures. You could have the 3 Voyagers to put together. I do think Rail Racer will be a good option that we will see join the line in the coming years. What do you think? Now, so just to recap, we've got Predaking, Rail Racer, Defensor, and Monstructor. They are all really amazing figures, and as a person who actually does love the thrill of the hunt for the combiner pieces, man, I don't know which one I want most. Leave a comment below to let me know which one you out of those 4 would like to see the most done first, or you know, the one you want to collect the most. Leave a comment below. Also, while I have you here, if you haven't watched our last video on the G.I. Joe Classified Snowcat, there is a giveaway on the channel right now. It's on for next week. Watch that video and figure out the details for giveaway. It'd be great. Anyway, so once again, leave a comment. Let me know which one you are most interested in, and I'll reply to every single one of your comments below. While you're here, why don't you watch this video here, or maybe this one right here. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.